You ever meet someone who swears they can't be touched? You ever see a person walk in a room like they own the air you're breathing? Let me tell you something, the strongest people in the world, they're not destroyed with fists, not even with words. They're destroyed with something far quieter. And I'm about to show you exactly how it's done. A pause, lean, and tone. Now, before we go any further, drop in the comments. What's one thing that can bring a powerful person to their knees without you ever laying a hand on them? I want to see your answers because some of you already know. You see, there's something people don't understand about silence. They think it means you've got nothing to say. They think it's surrender. They think it's you letting them win. But let me tell you, silence, that's the sharpest weapon you'll ever carry. Because when somebody steps up to you, chest out, voice loud, ready for a fight, they're expecting noise. They're expecting you to bark back, to swing wild, to prove you've got just as much fire as they do. And the moment you give them nothing, oh, you flip the whole game upside down. See, when you don't respond, you force them into a space they can't handle. You send them into a conversation with themselves. And here's the truth. Most people aren't ready to meet their own thoughts. They've been running from them for years. When you give them silence, they've got no one left to wrestle with but the mirror in front of them. And if they don't like what they see, that's when they start cracking. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're scared. It means you're in control. Think about it. The loudest people in the room are often the most desperate to be heard. They're trying to convince you, or maybe they're trying to convince themselves. But when you stand there still unshaken, just letting their words bounce off you like rain on stone, they start to feel that power shift. It's not in their hands anymore. It's in yours. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what if they think I'm ignoring them? Good, let them think that. Because ignoring them isn't about disrespect. It's about self-respect. It's about showing them that their chaos doesn't get to dictate your peace. That your emotions don't come cheap. That you don't hand out your energy to just anybody who demands it. You ever see a boxer step in the ring and not throw a punch right away? He's studying. He's watching. He's letting the other guy waste all his energy swinging at shadows. Silence is the same thing. You're letting them exhaust themselves while you stand there calm, collected, untouched. And when the time comes to speak, you won't even need to shout. One sentence will be louder than all the noise they've been making for weeks. Here's another thing silence exposes: insecurity. The moment you stop feeding into their performance, they start scrambling for ways to pull you back in. They'll poke, they'll prod, they'll try to set little traps just to make you react. Because the truth is, they need your reaction to feel relevant. Without it, they're left standing in a spotlight they can't handle alone. And the longer you withhold it, the more they start questioning themselves. Why isn't this working? Why won't they fight me? That's when their confidence starts to crumble. You can destroy a person without lifting a hand or raising your voice, simply by refusing to play their game. And the beauty of it is, you're not lowering yourself to their level. You're raising the standard. You're telling the world, I don't waste my voice on things that don't build me. And believe me, people notice that. They start to see the difference between someone who's grounded and someone who's just loud. Sometimes the best response is no response. Not because you're afraid of conflict, but because you understand the cost of it. You know that every argument, every clapback, every heated word, it all takes something from you. And if what's being taken isn't being replaced with growth, peace, or progress, you're better off keeping it in your pocket. That's how you stay rich in spirit. That's how you keep your value high. So the next time somebody comes at you trying to pull you into their storm, remember this: you can't control the wind, but you can control your anchor. You can choose to let that storm blow right past you while you stand still. And when it's over, when they're left worn out and empty-handed, they'll realize they never had power over you in the first place. Now I want you to think back. Think about that one time you stayed quiet instead of lashing out. That moment where you could have gone off, but you chose to keep your cool. Did it end up working in your favor? Did it leave them more confused, more frustrated, more powerless than if you had fought back? I want to hear it. Drop your story in the comments. Somebody out there needs to know exactly how silence became your victory. You know what really hurts a person who tried to break you? It's not you yelling at them. It's not you plotting against them. It's not even you proving them wrong in the moment. Now the deepest cut is when you simply outgrow them. When you elevate so far beyond the level they operate on that they can't even touch you anymore. See, when you outgrow someone, it's like moving out of a neighborhood they're still stuck in. They might stand on their porch and yell your name, but you don't even live there anymore. Here's the thing, people who want to keep you down are banking on one thing: that you'll stay close enough for them to keep playing their games. They need you in the same place, at the same level, circling the same problem so they can still matter in your story. But the moment you step into growth, the moment you start chasing things bigger than the petty drama they survive on, you become unreachable. And that's when they feel it. That's when the loss hits them. Outgrowing someone doesn't mean you're better than them. It means you've made a choice. You've decided that your future is worth more than your pride in the moment. You've decided that the noise, the gossip, the back and forth, it's all too cheap for the life you're building. And that choice, that's power. Because when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you stop giving energy to proving anything to them. Your life becomes the proof. And here's what's beautiful. The more you grow, the less you even think about them. You're too busy learning, building, working, healing. And when you stop thinking about them, they start thinking about you even more. Why? Because you've left a silence in their life they can't fill. The person they used to poke, provoke, and distract is gone. Now all they can do is watch from a distance as you create something they never thought you could. Growth is the ultimate revenge because it forces them to face the truth, that all the limits they tried to place on you were lies. Every time they said you couldn't, you wouldn't, you shouldn't, you did, and you didn't just do it, you made it look effortless. Not because it was easy, but because you stopped wasting time on them and started investing in you. I'll tell you something else. When you start leveling up, you change your environment. The people around you shift. You start meeting others who are on their own grind, chasing their own dreams, and guess what? Those people don't have time to pull you into nonsense. They lift you higher. And once you've been around that kind of energy, you'll never want to go back to the low-level noise again. That's the real separation. But here's the part that really stings for them. When you've grown beyond them, even if they wanted to come with you, they can't. Not because you'd stop them, but because growth is earned, not gifted. They'd have to face their own flaws, their own habits, their own fears, and most people aren't willing to do that work. It's easier for them to try to drag you back than to climb forward themselves. That's why you'll always see more people trying to pull you down than push you up. So keep climbing, keep learning, keep building something so big, so strong, that they can't even imagine what it's like to stand where you stand. Because when you're up there, when you've outgrown their level, they can't fight you. They can't reach you. And they sure can't hurt you. All they can do is watch and wish. The best part, you didn't have to attack them, embarrass them, or even acknowledge them to make it happen. You just had to become someone they could never catch. That's how you win without ever throwing a punch. That's how you destroy the grip they thought they had on you. By living in a way they'll never be able to match. Now I want to know, have you ever grown so far past someone that they just faded out of your life without you even having to push them? Drop it in the comments. Tell me how it felt when you realized you'd leveled up so high, their reach couldn't touch you anymore. Your name, that's your currency. That's your credit. That's the thing you spend every single day without even realizing it. And the thing is, once it's spent, you can't get it back the same way. You can rebuild it, but it'll never be fresh again. That's why you guard it. That's why you protect it like you protect your house, your family, your peace. Because a solid reputation will open doors you don't even knock on, and a damaged one will lock you out of rooms you've worked your whole life to get into. See, your reputation is built in the quiet moments, not the big ones. It's in the choices you make when no one's watching. It's in how you treat people who can't do anything for you. It's in the way you respond when somebody comes for you. People think a reputation is made in the headlines. No, it's made in the whispers. It's in the way your name travels in rooms you've never stepped into. And when that name is solid, when it carries weight, no lie, no rumor, no attack can stick to it for long. Because the truth you've lived will always be louder than the lies they tell. Now, here's the dangerous thing for the people who come against you. If you've been consistent, if you've been honorable, if you've walked in integrity, when they try to throw dirt on you, all they do is get their own hands filthy. The people who know you, the ones who've seen you show up time and time again with respect, with discipline, with honesty, they're not going to believe the noise. In fact, most of the time, it makes the attacker look small, petty, and desperate. But that only works if you've been building your name the right way. And that's not about being perfect. It's about being real and being steady. When you mess up, own it. When you promise something, deliver it. When you say you stand for something, stand for it even when it's hard. Because every time you choose character over comfort, you're depositing into the bank of your reputation. And that account, that's what covers you when the storms hit. You ever notice that the most respected people in the world don't have to yell about who they are? They don't have to defend themselves in every argument. They don't have to post 1,000 screenshots to prove their point. They've put in so many years of truth, of consistency, that their work speaks before they do. And when someone tries to tear them down, people don't even have to ask, is that true? Because they already know the answer. That's the kind of shield a strong reputation gives you. But here's the other side. You've got to be intentional about not letting someone else rent space in your name. That means you don't get dragged into every fight. You don't let someone's bitterness stain your record because you decided to go down in the mud with them. Think about it. If you see two people rolling around in the dirt, you can't tell which one started clean. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let them be the only one covered in the mess they made. And it's not just about protecting your name from lies. It's about making it so valuable that even your silence speaks for you. People should know that if you're quiet, it's not because you're guilty, it's because you're focused. They should know that your absence from the drama is your way of saying, I'm working on things you can't even imagine. When your reputation gets to that level, you don't have to chase validation. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone who doubts you because you've already proven yourself to the ones who matter. A good name will carry you places skill alone can't. It'll get you jobs you didn't apply for, opportunities you didn't ask for, and respect you didn't demand. But it's fragile, and there will always be someone who wants to crack it just to watch you fall. That's why you have to treat your reputation like your most valuable possession. Don't let temporary emotions make permanent damage. Don't let the need to win. A petty argument cost you the credibility you've spent years building. Because when your name is strong, you don't have to attack anyone. You don't have to fight dirty. You don't have to chase revenge. You just keep moving forward. And every time your name gets mentioned, the truth walks in the room before you do. And trust me, that's enough to destroy anyone who thought they could take you down. Now tell me in the comments, what's one thing you've done to protect your name, even when it would have been easier to clap back? Your story might be the thing that teaches someone watching right now how to keep their reputation unshakable. When people can't match your truth, they'll make up a version of it that works for them. That's just how it is. The moment your reality starts to expose their insecurities, they get busy building a story where they don't look so small. And here's the part that stings for them. The better you live, the harder it is for their lies to stick. You don't even have to chase the rumors or explain yourself in every conversation. All you have to do is live in such a way that the story they tell about you collapses under the weight of who you really are. See, a lie is only strong when there's a void to fill. If people don't see you, don't know you, they might buy into what they hear. But when your actions are consistent, when your values are clear, when your life is lined up with what you say you stand for, their lies run out of oxygen. And the truth doesn't have to scream, it's steady. It's patient. It lets time do the heavy lifting. I've learned that when you fight every lie, you give it legs. You breathe life into something that would have died on its own. You turn a whisper into a headline just by acknowledging it. That's why you've got to resist the temptation to defend yourself to everybody. Because not everyone asking for your side of the story actually cares about the truth. Some people just want front row seats to the drama. And when you stop feeding them, they stop showing up. The most powerful clapback is your life. Keep working. Keep showing up. Keep doing what they said you couldn't. Let them watch you build in real time while the things they've said about you get quieter and quieter. At first, they'll try to add more fuel, maybe tell a bigger lie, maybe get louder, maybe involve more people. But over time, even their audience will get tired. And when people see that you're still standing, still growing, still smiling, they start wondering if they were lied to. That doubt right there, that's the beginning of their downfall. Living better than their lies isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing people that your flaws don't match the fiction. That even in your mistakes, there's honesty. And once people catch even a glimpse of that, they start to question everything they've been told. Because here's the thing, lies don't age well. They wrinkle, they rot, they fall apart under the light. But the truth stays the same every single day. And while you're out there living your life, building your dreams, focusing on what matters, they're stuck maintaining their lie. That's work. That's stress. That's a full-time job that never pays off. Because every time reality bumps into the story they told, they've got to patch it, change it, twist it just to keep it alive. And the longer they do it, the more obvious it becomes to everyone else. Eventually, they're not just lying about you, they're lying about you. And that's a hole they'll never climb out of. So don't waste your time trying to win the argument. Let your results speak. Let your peace speak. Let your joy speak. Every success you have is like a hammer hitting the wall of their story until it finally crumbles. And when it does, you won't even need to say, I told you so. Everybody watching will already know. What you've got to remember is this: you can't stop people from talking, but you can make sure that what they say doesn't matter. If the truth of your life is bigger, brighter, and louder than the lies, then you've already won. They can talk all they want, but when people see you, they'll see the difference. So live in such a way that your existence becomes their contradiction. Make every move, every step, every win an answer to the nonsense they've been spreading. Because nothing destroys a lie faster than a life that makes it look ridiculous. And when that happens, you didn't just survive their attack, you buried it. Now, I want you to think about a time someone lied about you. And instead of fighting back, you let your actions prove them wrong. How did it feel when the truth finally came out? Share it in the comments. Someone watching needs to know that winning without words is possible. Attention, that's the fuel for every fire someone tries to start in your life. They poke at you, they provoke you, they drag your name into things, not because they need the truth, but because they need your energy. The second you give it to them, you've just signed up to be part of their game. But the moment you cut it off, that's when you take away the only thing keeping their fire alive. It's simple, but it's not easy. We're wired to want to defend ourselves, to respond, to clap back, to set the record straight. And believe me, they know that. That's why they bait you. That's why they'll say things in just the right way to get under your skin. Because if they can get a rise out of you, they've got control over you. But when you don't respond, when you refuse to even acknowledge their existence, you strip them of that control. Think of it like this. If you've got a fire in front of you and you keep throwing wood on it, it'll burn forever. But if you stop feeding it, if you let it sit with no fuel, it doesn't matter how wild it looked before it dies. That's how people operate when their only power over you comes from your attention. Without it, they fade. Without it, they have to sit in the silence you've created, and that's silence. That's heavy. I'm not saying it won't be tempting to respond. Sometimes you'll be in a room where someone takes a shot at you right to your face. Sometimes it'll be online where they twist your words or drag your name for likes. Sometimes it'll be behind your back where you hear it secondhand and your first thought is, oh, they picked the wrong one today. But here's the thing, if you engage, you become part of their show. You step onto their stage and play the role they wrote for you. And that's exactly what they wanted. Walking away doesn't mean they got away with it. Walking away means you've decided they're not worth the price of admission. Because every time you react, you're paying with your time, your peace, your focus. And you've only got so much of that to give in a day. Why waste it on someone who has no power over you unless you hand it to them? When you stop giving someone attention, they'll try harder at first. They'll come up with new ways to drag you in, maybe even get more aggressive. That's because you're breaking their supply. And addicts don't like losing their supply. But if you stay consistent, if you refuse to feed that fire no matter how much they scratch and claw for it, they eventually run out of ways to keep it burning. And here's what's beautiful. While they're wasting all their energy trying to get your attention back, you're using all of yours to grow, to move forward, to build something they can't touch. They'll be stuck talking about the old version of you while you're out here creating a life they'll never be a part of. That's a win they'll never admit, but they'll feel it every time they see you. You don't need to block everybody. You don't need to make big announcements about who you're ignoring. You just quietly stop feeding them. Stop showing up to every argument. Stop taking every call. Stop letting them live rent-free in your mind. And you'll be amazed at how fast your world feels lighter. You'll realize you never needed to win the battle they were trying to fight. You just needed to leave the battlefield. Because when someone loses your attention, they lose their influence. And when they lose their influence, they lose their power. You didn't have to destroy them with words. You didn't have to expose them. You just had to stop giving them the very thing they needed to survive. That's how you take control without ever swinging back. Now think about it. Who in your life has been draining your energy lately? Who's been trying to pull you into their chaos just to keep you from focusing on your own? Drop it in the comments and tell me how it's going to feel when you finally stop feeding them. You ever notice how the people who really have influence, the ones who are truly respected, don't chase crowds? They don't compete for attention, they don't beg for loyalty, and they don't tear others down just to shine. That's because real power isn't about fighting for people. It's about becoming someone people want to follow without you having to pull them. See, when you focus on inspiring, helping and uplifting others, you attract them naturally. You don't have to sell yourself to them because your presence, your work, your energy, it does all the talking. Here's the secret. When you win people over without fighting for them, you're untouchable because nobody can take away something that was never forced to begin with. If someone chooses to be around you because you make them better, stronger, more motivated, there's no gossip, no manipulation that can break that bond easily. The ones trying to work against you can throw all the shade they want. But when people have felt your impact in their own lives, they won't be swayed so easily. Think about it like this. If you spend your time competing for people's attention, you're playing a game you can't win. Because someone else will always shout louder, offer more, or promise bigger. But when you give people value they can't get anywhere else, you're not just in their head, you're in their heart. And that's where loyalty is built. That's the kind of connection no outsider can break. When you're consistent in showing up for people, in helping without keeping score, in giving them something real, you become magnetic. The crowd that once believed the rumors about you will shift toward you because they'll see the difference for themselves. And the ones who tried to turn them against you, they'll start to lose their influence. People follow energy, and yours will be the kind that makes them feel alive, not drained. The truth is, you don't have to compete for people when you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself. The right people will see it. They'll feel it. They'll want to be around it. And once they experience it, they won't be so quick to believe anything negative about you. Because their own experience will speak louder than someone else's words. And here's the part they won't tell you. The ones who wanted to see you fail will get more frustrated the more you grow your circle without even trying. They'll see you building influence without stepping into the mud with them. They'll see you winning over people they thought they controlled. And they'll realize the more they attack you, the more they accidentally promote you. That's the power of living in a way that draws people in naturally. You don't have to steal anyone's spotlight when you can build your own stage. You don't have to pull people away from someone else when you can simply be the one they're drawn to because of the value, the peace, the strength you bring. That's how you win without ever taking a swing. You make people want to stand with you, not because you asked them to, but because they decided to. Now think about it. Has there ever been a time when people were drawn to you simply because of the way you moved, the way you worked, or the way you treated them, even while someone else was trying to pull them away? Drop your story in the comments. Someone watching right now needs to hear how you won people without ever fighting for them. Pain, it's a dangerous thing when you don't know what to do with it. It'll eat you alive if you let it sit there raw and unprocessed. And that's exactly where most people lose themselves. They take that pain and turn it into anger, into bitterness, into revenge. But here's the truth. The most dangerous, unstoppable version of you is the one who learns how to take that pain and turn it into discipline. See, when somebody tries to hurt you, they're hoping you'll break. They're hoping you'll lose focus, get sloppy, throw your life off course trying to get even. But when you use that pain as fuel to sharpen yourself, to train harder, to work smarter, to level up your mind, your body, your spirit, suddenly their attack becomes your advantage. Every hit they tried to land on you ends up building the armor you'll wear for the rest of your life. Discipline is born in moments where it would be easier to quit. It's born when you wake up tired, but still keep going. When you hear the lies, the criticism, the doubt, and instead of letting it stop you, you let it push you further. Every rep in the gym, every hour of study, every brick you lay toward your goals, that's you taking control of your pain and making it work for you. And once you figure out how to do that, nobody can touch you the same way again. I'm telling you, the people who try to break you will never be ready for what happens when their attack makes you stronger. Because here's the thing, revenge can be satisfying in the moment, but discipline is permanent. It doesn't just win one battle, it makes you unbeatable in every battle after that. It's the quiet work you do when no one's watching. It's the consistency that builds results so undeniable that even your enemies can't ignore them. And let's be honest, discipline takes humility. You've got to be willing to focus on yourself instead of focusing on them. You've got to accept that the best payback isn't proving them wrong tomorrow, it's living in a way that makes them irrelevant for the rest of your life. And that means you don't just work when it's easy. You work when it's raining, when it's cold, when it's lonely, when it feels like nobody's rooting for you. Because in those moments, every ounce of progress you make becomes another reminder to yourself that they didn't stop you. And the beauty is, once you've built that discipline, it starts showing in everything you do. Your energy changes. The way you carry yourself changes. People start to notice you're not reacting to every little thing anymore. You've got a focus that can't be shaken, and that focus, it intimidates the very people who tried to take it from you. They realize they didn't just fail to destroy you. They helped create the version of you that's now out of their reach. That's the quiet victory nobody talks about. The kind that doesn't need to be announced, because it's obvious in the way you move, the way you live, the way you win. And it all comes from that choice you made, not to waste your pain, but to put it to work. Now I want you to think about it. Has there ever been a time in your life when you took pain that could have broken you and turned it into the fuel that made you stronger? Drop it in the comments. Somebody out there needs to hear exactly how you turned hurt into discipline so they know they can do it too. Every move a person makes plants a seed. That's the law. You don't have to see it sprout right away, but believe me, it's growing. And when someone spends their time planting seeds of jealousy, betrayal, manipulation, or hate, they're not building a garden, they're digging their own trap. That's why you don't have to chase justice. You just have to keep moving and let time do what time does. See, the thing about karma is it doesn't need your help. It doesn't need you to make sure they get what's coming. That's not your job. Your job is to keep your hands clean, your focus sharp, and your spirit steady. Because if you get too busy trying to make them pay, you'll miss the blessings that were headed your way. And worse, you might end up planting the same kind of seeds they did. When you let karma do the heavy lifting, you're trusting that the universe, God, whatever name you give it, has a perfect memory. It hasn't forgotten how they treated you. It hasn't overlooked the things they did in the dark. But it also hasn't forgotten how you kept your dignity, how you didn't lower yourself to match them, how you stayed focused on building something real instead of tearing them down. And that's why when karma comes around, it won't just handle them, it'll reward you. Now here's the part they never see coming. Sometimes their karma isn't loud. It's not a big dramatic crash for everyone to watch. Sometimes it's silent. It's the opportunities they lose without knowing why. It's the people who stop trusting them, stop inviting them, stop believing in them. It's the slow unraveling of everything they built on lies. And while that's happening, you're over here growing, thriving, stacking win after win. That contrast alone is enough to break them without you lifting a finger. And here's the truth. When you step back and let time work, you're protecting your own peace. You're telling yourself, I'm not going to waste a single breath on someone who's already writing their own ending. You get to spend that energy on things that matter, people who matter, goals that matter. And every day you do that, you're getting further and further away from their reach. The beautiful thing is, you won't have to say a word when karma shows up. People will see it. The same ones who believe their lies will see the truth play out in real time. And you won't need to celebrate their downfall, because your success will speak louder than anything else. That's how you win, not by dragging them down, but by standing tall while they sink under the weight of their own actions. So don't waste your nights wondering when it's going to happen. Don't go looking for signs. Just live in a way that makes you proud, and trust that life has a way of balancing the books. It might take longer than you want, but it will happen. And when it does, it'll be undeniable. Now think about it. Have you ever stepped back, said nothing, and watched karma handle what you couldn't? Drop your story in the comments. Somebody watching right now needs to be reminded that they don't have to fight every battle to win the war. So here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to throw a punch. You don't have to play their game to win. The real power is in controlling yourself when they can't control themselves. It's in protecting your peace, guarding your name, living in a way that makes their attacks look foolish. Every time you choose silence over chaos, growth over revenge, truth over lies, focus over distraction, you're destroying them without ever touching them. And when it's all said and done, the world won't remember the noise they made. They'll remember how you moved through it. They'll remember that you didn't just survive it, you elevated because of it. That's the kind of victory no one can take away from you. Now tell me in the comments, which one of these steps are you going to start living by today? Because someone out there is about to see you win without you ever having to fight.